Good morning. I'm Pastor Peterson, and I'm a pastor at Our Savior's Way Lutheran Church. This morning, our devotion is on Psalm 12. Help, Lord, for the godly are no more. The faithful have vanished from among men. Everyone lies to his neighbor. Their flattering lips speak with deception. May the Lord cut off all flattering lips and every boastful tongue that says, we will triumph with our tongues, we own our lips. Who is our master? Because of the oppression of the weak and the groaning of the needy, I will now arise, says the Lord. I will protect them from those who malign them. And the word of the Lord are flawless, like silver refined in a furnace of clay, purified 7 times. O Lord, you will keep us safe and protect us from such people forever. The wicked freely strut about when what is vile is honoring among men. This is a Psalm of David, and when we think of fake news, David lived in a time of fake news. We have more means of communicating today than ever before, yet it's hard to know what is true. We hear on one channel, and then we turn to another channel, and we try to compare the two, and we try to figure out what is the truth. When we think of David, he laments his circumstances because he was living in a time when people had lost their faith in God. It was a time in which they focused on themselves. People were boasting about their accomplishments, boasting about the good that they were doing and how successful they were. People were quick to flatter each other rather than to be honest with each other. You might say there were people who were involved in trying to be politically correct rather than to be true. And when we think about these times, it was a time in which the rich got richer, the poor got poorer, a time in which people were being oppressed because the truth was not spoken. And when you read the psalm, it's like listening to the evening news. There's problems, and there's more problems, and then there's just no good news. And in a world of fake news, where can you find words that can be trusted? Where do you go to find hope? Where do you find the truth? David reminds us that our hope is in God because his word is truth. He compares the word of God to like silver being refined 7 different times in a clay pot. It's flawless. It will never fail us. It simply will tell us exactly what truth is. And it's completely trustworthy. You know, as a king, David had many pressures, and he certainly had a lot of advisors, and those advisors had a lot of opinions. And when we think of today, we have a lot of people with voices telling us what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. There's a lot of opinions of what's right and what's not right. And how do you sort through all those voices? And how do you get to the truth? For David, there was one way in which he could filter what was being said through all those voices to get to the truth, and that was the Word of God. He compared those voices to what God had said, and that if it didn't compare and line up with the Word of God, then he knew that he shouldn't trust it because that word wasn't true. And for instance, if you're making a decision and it doesn't line up with what God said you should be doing with your life, and it doesn't line up with the will of God, for David, the choice then was simple: don't do it. If you make that decision, you're going to hurt yourself and you're going to hurt others. There's no good is going to come out of that decision. And so the Word of God was a way in which he was able to discern not only was the truth, but how to live it out. Jesus said that we are the light of the world, that every day we are sharing our faith in God by what we say, by what we do, and by our attitudes. People are looking at the way we live, and one of the best gifts that we can give to people is to live out a life that reflects the truth, that reflects the Word of God, because as we do that, we model for others what is really good and what is right and what is going to be helpful. If we are obedient to the Word of God and yield our life to it, the poor and the weak will be lifted up, God's love will be shared with people, and hope will be multiplied. That's God's promise, and that's the truth. Will you pray with me? Dear Lord, thank you for being honest and truthful with us. Thank you for helping us understand the difference between right and wrong, and for helping us understand the mischoices that we have made. Forgive us, Lord, when we focus on ourselves and seek our own will rather than seek to do what is right. Help us to bring the light of God's love and presence to each person that we meet today, to be truthful to others, as you have been truthful to us. Amen. God bless you, and may God keep you safe.